and this inspired her to co-author an internationally recognised best-selling book, Mission Critical Messages, contributing a chapter entitled How to Live Your Dream Year. So would you please welcome Atakul Eguzo.
Wow, how do I follow that? I have the balloons and it's okay, I'll just be me. Wow, a very lovely evening to you all. Thank you all for being here. I'm delighted to be asked to be a diverse teen ambassador, and I'm more thrilled that an event like this is happening because it's so needed now, not just in Ireland but all over the world. So I want to begin by giving honor to whom honor is due, and that's just to say a big well done to Furkan, for this initiative. It's not easy. The thoughts, the ideas to put this together, it's not easy. So I think she should be celebrated. Can we give her a big round of applause? So while I take the stage, I'd just like to take a few minutes just to tell you a little bit about myself and why I feel so passionately about diversity and inclusion. I'll also share a few ideas on how companies could also cultivate an inclusive environment for ethnic minorities as well. Okay, so I am originally from Nigeria, and I moved to Ireland about 18 years ago. But I've considered Ireland my home now. But when I think back to the enormous trip that was involved in my moving to Ireland, I said, God, how did I do it? How did I come here? And I was traveling alone in a place that I knew very little about. And I never really thought about the practicalities at the end and at the other end. Imagine coming alone all the way from Nigeria, in Ireland. I'm like, okay, so what next? But again, I had big dreams, big hopes and expectations. I was like, this is the land of milk and honey. Yeah, well, I'm gonna milk it. but I look back now and I keep saying, how did I do it? I don't know how I got here. But I believe that I came here on a wing and a prayer. And this is the reality for many people like me who have made similar journeys all over the world in search of a better life. Although English is the spoken language in Nigeria, where I come from, I discovered that in Ireland, the English is different. When an Irish person says yes, sometimes it actually means no, or maybe. And it took me a long time to figure that out. And so apart from the language barrier, the qualifications I had from Nigeria were not recognized. I felt so frustrated, with all these experiences. I couldn't get a job that I wanted. I had coming in here, I had some links with some Nigerians as well, but I realized that they themselves were not really integrated. They didn't really know what's happening or how to get this job. People just went with whatever every other person else was doing. And then it was all about care work. And I'm like, I'm an accountant from Nigeria. I couldn't do care. But some people were forced to get into those kind of jobs because they just did not have a choice. So while I found work after a few years, I realized that it wasn't fulfilling, it wasn't who I was, it didn't make my heart sing. Because I'm a passionate person, I have a deep desire to do work that really matters. So I availed of further training, and it went well, but I realized that without a suitable mentor, I hit a brick wall each time I tried to use those qualifications to get a job. So it was just hard. It was so hard. So however, with time I was able to overcome these challenges because of my willingness to learn, my perseverance, and again, ability to network, just going out there and talking to people. So, but again, that was because I could do it. There's so many people out there who feel shy coming into a new country, new people, new language. How do you expect them to, talk? So some of my Irish colleagues then would ask me, oh, Ada, the Ireland, I see so many ethnic, people doing, I don't see a lot of ethnic people in events or business networks and all that. but I see that there are quite a lot of them in Ireland, so where are they? Then I said, that's a good question. And I think that led to me thinking, what can I do about this to give more visibility to people from ethnic minority backgrounds? So it's easy, like, but again, it was easy for me in the sense that it wasn't so easy, but it was easy in the sense that I had a qualification from home. I had accounting, I had English language. But again, how about those whose English was not their first language? How would they communicate? How about those who had a strong accent? How would hold them back from even engaging? Then, and again, people come from different culture where even business networking or talking to people is not really part of the culture or the norm. So, but it's easy for me to get up here and say, yeah, I got a new life, I was doing well. But however, I started thinking, how about the others? Yes, I'm able to overcome this, but there are many more behind me that are still stuck. What can I do about it? So I think this was the drive that led me to Phoenix Wright Consulting. I work with migrants like myself, helping them to integrate into Ireland. And that's on one side of it. I also work with organizations, helping them to understand the value of diversity and inclusion, helping them to improve their cultural competencies, helping them to understand how to really work with people from different cultures. Reminding them that a one-size-fits-all approach does not work. Ireland has changed over the years, so people have changed, people have come in here. So the policies, the procedures need to also change as well. So again, I am just one person. I can only do so much. I can't do this all alone. And in order to enjoy a wider benefit to Ireland's economy as a whole, we all need to play our part. Diversity and inclusion takes time and effort. It's not something that the HR department, does and does. It's not just for them alone. Rather, it's the small, everyday actions that each one of us takes that makes a profound impact at the end of the day. I would like to ask each of you to consider one small action that from tomorrow, from Monday, you could think, what can I do that can make a difference in my company? Who do I consider that is different from me at work that I could invite for a cup of tea or for lunch? That's where the change starts. It starts with you. It starts with the little things that you can do. And on an organizational level, there is also, there is unlimited potential for Irish companies and organizations to also increase diversity and inclusion. For example, there's a quote that I say to myself, is to always challenge myself. If not me, then who? And if not now, then when? And I believe that all organizations have a responsibility to ask themselves those same questions every day. Leadership is both a privilege and a responsibility. Whether we take the privilege without living up to the responsibility is up to us as individuals. The reach of that responsibility increases with the size of the reach of our organizations. It is my opinion that global companies have a global responsibility, which includes a responsibility for diversity and inclusion. But what does that mean for you and your team? It means utilizing the full breadth of talent available in the Irish employment market. It means conducting a blind screening to minimize unconscious bias in the CV review process. It also means celebrating events for underrepresented communities. It means being willing to learn from those who do things that are a bit different from yourself. More often than not, achieving positive diversity and inclusion also could mean that it could also mean that us admitting that we don't really have the answers. We just don't know. And if you don't know, there's no harm in not knowing. So that can sound like a tall order, and doing it could be, people just do it for doing sake. But if you do it for the sake of doing it, then the goodwill, will run thin. That is why it is important that I make it clear that diversity and inclusion in the workplace does pay very generous dividends to businesses over long term. Did you know that companies in the top quartile for racial and ethnic diversity are 35% more likely to have returns above national industrial medians? This is statistics from McKinsey. According to Gartner, highly inclusive organizations generate 2.3 times more cash flow per employee, 1.4 times more revenue, and are 120% more capable of meeting financial targets. Further, Glassdoor reports that 67% of both active and passive job seekers say that when they are evaluating companies and job offers, it is important that those companies have a diverse workforce. So if you want to attract the best talent, you need to provide a corporate environment that adheres to this. I'm aware also that Ireland has a history of emigration, of thousands of people fleeing this country instead of a better life. Ireland has a vast diaspora across the UK, Australia, US, you name it. We don't even have to go far back in history to see this outward migration from Ireland. It happened again recently in the last recession. We saw thousands of young people pack up their bags and take off to Australia instead of work and a better life. So Irish people have been on the receiving end of discrimination as well. Notices that read, "No blacks, no Irish," were also commonplace in workplaces in many cities. This blatant discrimination unites Irish people with other minorities as well. Understanding this, I can see now that Ireland is the ideal country in which both native Irish and the new Irish can pioneer diversity and inclusion initiatives together. When we work together, we solve problems together, we overcome obstacles together, and we socialize together through the shared purpose found in work. And this ripples through society, making us a stronger people. So diversity and inclusion is so much more than a buzzword. If that's all we see it has, then I suggest that we need to think again. No man is an island. We need and depend on each other, on all our unique experiences, our capabilities to innovate and to push outside of all our current comfort zone. Businesses don't stand still. If we want to survive, we must evolve. There are plenty of ways we can choose to evolve, but one way that I know that sure works and makes the biggest impact is through diversity and inclusion. I would like to ask that each of you should lend your support to diversity and inclusion in your own lives for the benefits of all. And Diverse In is a wonderful initiative to start that. Thank you very much.
And I should have actually said that Edicu founded iSmile International, which was set up to enhance the economic and cultural participation of women from migrant and refugee backgrounds. So I omitted that from your introduction, so apologies. I was speaking to somebody yesterday and I said I think certainly while society has changed and become more diverse in general, organisations and workplaces definitely haven't caught up with it. And I think as we approach full employment again in Ireland, we really need to learn to leverage very diverse groups of people and potential employees and organisations. So I think there's an economic imperative maybe for organisations to pay attention as much as the equality agenda. So we're going to move to a panel discussion now, and Farkan is going to moderate this. So I'll invite Farkan to introduce the panelists to you.
Sandra and Amanda, please join us. Thank you. Okay. we are here today with Sandra